and welcome to the public information meeting presentation for the land use bylaw map amendment application we've received, or rezoning, for the vacant land with frontage to Middle Dyke Road in North Kentville with PID 55496038. I am the planner for this application, Perry Bowman, and the applicant is Braddock Community Planning. The purpose of today's meeting or presentation is to inform the public of the application, to explain the planning policies that enable this application to occur, and to receive preliminary feedback from the public. Please note, no opinions have been formed on this application and no decisions have been made at this time. This application submitted proposes to rezone the eastern side of the vacant land which abuts Middle Dyke Road. The portion of the site proposed to be rezoned is 1.1 acres in area. The whole of the site is currently zoned the residential 1 unit R1 zone. The application proposes to rezone the portion shown on the left hand side of the screen to the residential 1 and 2 unit or R2 zone. If approved, the proposed rezoning would enable the development of 10 semi-detached dwellings fronting Middle Dyke Road. This would equate to a total of 20 residential units. This is a map of the municipality of the County of Kings. The red circle on the screen indicates the approximate location of the subject site within the community of North Kentville. Aerial image of the site, which is outlined in red. The site has street frontage to Airy Drive to the north, Middle Dyke Road to the east, and Aquila Court, which extends into the site from Airy Drive. The site is located in an established residential area, sandwiched between existing agricultural activity, which can be seen on the right and left hand sides of the screen. This is a closer aerial image of the subject site. The subject property is approximately 4.8 acres in size and it is currently vacant. The portion of the vacant land proposed to be rezoned is currently outlined in the dashed yellow line. The remainder of the site is proposed to stay as the residential 1 unit or R1 zone and is not changing in its zoning. It is only the area outlined in the dashed yellow line that is proposed to be rezoned. This is a zoning map of the subject site and surrounds. The site is currently in the residential 1 unit zone or R1 zone. The site is surrounded by a number of zones, including the residential 1 and 2 unit R2 zone directly to the south of the subject site. There's also a pocket of the residential mixed density R3 zone to the south. We also have the institutional I1 zone to the southeast. And we have the agricultural zone to the east and west. The drainage ditch on the western side of Middle Dyke Road is covered by the environmentally sensitive area overlay, identifying the drainage ditch as either having a slope or of being at risk of flooding through the 2012 Applied Geomatics Research Group flood mapping. So Middle Dyke Road is also the eastern boundary of the North Kentville Growth Centre. This is a future land use map, so it identifies the site and surrounding lands west of Middle Dyke Road is covered by the residential designation. The residential designation identifies what land can be used for and if changes are proposed to be made, what those changes can be. The Municipal Planning Strategy Policy 3.1.3 states that all residential zones are permitted within the residential designation, meaning that the municipal planning strategy does not prohibit the rezoning of the land from the residential 1 unit or R1 zone to the residential 1 and 2 unit R2 zone if all other policy components are met. This is a hypothetical map showing what the rezoning would look like if this application is approved. So we can see that the residential 1 and 2 unit R2 zone would extend around northwards from Scott Drive to extend up Middle Dyke Road. This is an image taken standing on Airy Drive, looking up Aquila Court, and in the background you can see these semi-detached dwellings which are fronting Scott Drive to the south of the site. This is an image taken from Aquila Court, looking towards Middle Dyke Road across the site. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the semi-detached dwellings which front Scott Drive. This is an image taken from Airy Drive, looking across the land that is proposed to be rezoned. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see Middle Dyke Road, and in the far background of the image, you can also see the semi-detached dwellings which face Scott Drive. This is an image taken on Scott Drive of the new / partially constructed semi-detached dwellings, which are to the south of the site. So with regard to the specific policy that allows Council to consider this application, Municipal Planning Strategy Policy 5.3.3 states that Council shall consider amendments to any one of the zoning maps of the land use bylaw, provided the application is for a specific development, which the owner has told us their intention is to develop 10 semi-detached dwellings. And point A is to rezone land to another enabled within the same designation, unless the zone change is specifically prohibited within the strategy. So as previously mentioned, the municipal planning strategy does not prohibit the change from a residential 1 unit zone to the residential 1 and 2 unit zone. So Municipal Planning Strategy 5.3.5 states that Council shall consider in relation to all applications to rezone land, point A, the applicable zone placement policies, including any specific policy criteria for applying the proposed zone set out within this strategy. Point B, the impact of both the specific development proposal and of the other possible uses permitted in the proposed zone. And C, the general criteria for amending the land use bylaw set out in section 5.3, development agreements, and amending the land use bylaw. So in respect to the placement policy, which applies to the residential 1 and 2 unit R2 zone, Municipal Planning Strategy Policy 3.1.2 states that Council shall establish the following residential zones in the land use bylaw. Point A relates to the residential 1 unit R1 and the residential 1 and 2 unit R2 zones. So lands located in these zones are intended to maintain existing residential areas while encouraging energy efficiency and providing opportunities for infill development, primarily on roads located on the periphery of growth centres. These zones are intended to consist primarily of 1 and 2 unit dwellings. So the Municipal Planning Strategy Policy 5.3.7 sets out the general criteria for consideration. So that is that the intent of the municipal planning strategy is met, that the application does not conflict with any municipal or provincial programs, bylaws, or regulations, that there would be no financial impact on the municipality, that there is land use compatibility, that there is adequate schools, recreation, and community facilities in proximity to the site. The application considers creation of traffic hazards and congestion, that there is adequate fire and protection services and equipment, that there is adequate sewer and water services, that there potential for flooding or sewage drainage problems are considered, that there will be no negative impacts on well fields or other groundwater supplies, that the application would not create pollution, soil erosion, or siltation of watercourses, that there would be no negative impacts on lake water quality or wetlands where applicable, that there would be no negative impacts on neighbouring farming operations, and that the site is suitable for the proposal. So this is a process map of where we are and what the process is for a land use bylaw map amendment process. So we have received a completed application from Brighter Community Planning, and we are currently at the public information meeting phase. So properties within 500 feet were notified of this meeting, and should this application make it to a public hearing, property owners will be notified again. The next step will be a staff review, where staff determine if the proposal meets the policy within the municipal planning strategy and the land use bylaw. A report of the staff review is then presented to the Planning Advisory Committee, who will make a positive or negative recommendation to Council or provide alternate direction, such as requesting further information. The application will then go to first reading and public hearing. The public will have a second opportunity to speak at the hearing, and properties within 500 feet will be notified by mail prior to the hearing, and it will be advertised in the newspaper as well. After completion of the public hearing, the second reading of Council is where they vote to deny or approve the land use bylaw map amendment. And finally, there is a 14-day appeal period of Council's decision. If anyone has any further comments or questions, they can contact me by phone at 902-690-6150 or email me at pbowman@countyofkings.ca. Thank you.